For all my fellow Christians, I want to conduct a poll real quick. I'm going to tell you about the 3 different kinds of faith, and I want you to tell me which one of these 3 you most closely identify with. And this is just to satisfy my own personal curiosity, nothing more. So the first one is blind faith. This is where you don't really know much about God, you don't really get Him, but you believe He's up there, and that's good enough for you. This is kind of how I approach stray animals. I've never met them before, but I really want to pet them, and I just have faith that it will be an enjoyable experience for the both of us. Number 2, knowledgeable faith. This is where you may not know everything, but you know enough about God to know that you can trust Him. And I kind of liken this to like knowing how airplanes work. You may not know all of the mechanics that go into an airplane, but you know that there is something about the science behind jet propulsion that will get you safely, in most cases, from point A to point B. And you believe this because you have the knowledge that other people have done it. You have the knowledge of seeing airplanes take off and land safely. And you have the knowledge that educated engineers have designed this and have done a good job. All right, that's number 2. Number 3 is experiential faith. This is the kind where you have experienced God for yourself. Not only do you know He exists, not only do you know enough about Him to trust Him, but you have experienced Him. So nobody will ever be able to talk you out of it. So go ahead and let me know which of those you identify with the most. And you may be thinking this is a trick question. You may be thinking, okay, but which one of these is the right one? And the answer is, they all are. But you need all 3. It's necessary for us to have blind faith, because we cannot have that childlike faith unless we are willing to admit that we don't understand everything, and that there are some things about God that we will never know, but we trust it anyway. And then we need knowledgeable faith, because in order to grow deeper in our relationship with God, we have to know Him. We can't just treat Him like a distant stranger and think that that's good. We have to know Him as our Father. But then we have to have experiential faith, because that is what gives you the kind of faith that no one can take away from you. Because if you only have blind faith, then when the storms of life come, you're going to tuck tail and run. And if you only have knowledgeable faith, then you're going to look down on others when they're talking about their experiences, because it may not line up with what you've got in your noggin. But if you only have experiential faith, then you may not have the knowledge to understand whether that's actually from God or not. Because the Bible says that even the devil himself masquerades as an angel of light. So now, rather than telling me which of those 3 you identify with the most, now I want you to tell me which of those areas are you weakest in. And this is not to shame or condemn you or tell you you're doing it wrong. This is to present you with an opportunity to learn more. Because we can't grow if we don't know that there's more growing to do. But that's okay, because it's a lifelong process. You will never get to a point where you have arrived, where you have learned enough, and where you have grown enough. So just keep digging. And if you need a little help with that, and you don't know how to grow in any of those areas, I would highly recommend that you read my book, 7 Days to a Life of Limitless. I've had many people review this book and say that it answered a lot of questions for them in a short amount of time. And I believe if that's true for them, that it could be true for you too. And I also wrote a journal to go with it called Go Ask God the Journal. It's 120 question prompts that you can ask God, write your answers below, and it helps you practice hearing His voice. So if you think that either of these would help you in growing your faith deeper, then I would highly recommend that you check them out. You can find them on TikTok Shop, on Amazon, or at yourfriendcaitlin.com.